What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my F1 2016 mod career mode, episode number 8 today in the Haas Formula 1 team as per usual, and we're here at a very soggy Austrian Grand Prix. Now I know what you're going to be thinking straight away, where is the European Grand Prix? Because we've skipped one and we've gone to Austria because the European Grand Prix is round 8 of the 2016 season. Well, I did have something lined up. Obviously, you guys, if you logically think about it, you can't mod Baku into the 2014 game. It can't be done because it's never been made in a Codemasters game ever up till the new one that's not out yet. So I was going to replace Baku with the Valencia Grand Prix, and we were just going to do a European Grand Prix, a past European Grand Prix. But as you can clearly see on screen, my car decided to turn into, well, the Harry Potter car from the films. You know, there's no other way to describe it, really. Just flying around the city, around the Valencia street circuit, and it ended up with, well, that. So, yeah, I really wanted it to work, but it really just wasn't going to work. And, you know I could have maybe turned off the safety car to stop that happening, but I didn't want to necessarily do that. And also at the same time, I did a few laps around Valencia with the AI, and the AI just didn't seem their usual kind of punchy selves because it was a very different track to what they coded to in the 2014 game. So instead, I've just decided to move on. I'm not going to do it just for the sake of I can put in the title European Grand Prix. I'll just skip the round and we'll go to Austria. That's what I thought, and that's why we're here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and a very soaking one indeed for qualifying. And it ended up with Lewis Hamilton on pole position, a Mercedes lockout there. Then we had the Williams of Bottas, then 2 Ferraris, then the second Williams. We had Max Verstappen up there in 7th place. Disappointing stuff for Ricciardo, his teammate, who's down there in 11th. We had the Force Indias behind Verstappen, and then myself there in 10th, just ahead of, as I mentioned, Ricciardo there in 11th. So not okay, an okay qualifying. I was going to say quite a bad one, but it was an okay one. Considering the conditions, it was quite tough out there. Also, myself personally, I don't actually like Austria very much, especially in the wet, so it was an okay one. We'll see what we can do in the race. It's all dry. Let's go to the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. Right, here we are then on the grid, right next to Sergio Perez and directly behind Nico Hülkenberg. We go to 5 red lights for 36 laps ahead of us of the Austrian Grand Prix, and we are off. Can we score some more points for Haas today? Let's see the Sauber with an absolute electric start. Ricciardo on the left as well, going up the order. Really a lot of wheel spin on the exit, and the usual bad start from me in this Haas car. And Ericsson kind of getting his elbows out there on the exit of the corner. I tried to squeeze him out there, but he was having none of it. Anyway, we're lining up in 10th at the moment. Ericsson still there very much on my left-hand side with the 2 Force Indias trying to battle Williams there now into the brake zone. They go all very slowly, so I make a very opportunistic move here, nip down the inside of 2 of them there, and we're up into 8th place, slotting behind Perez in 7th there, going very slowly, those 3 cars were, so I thought might as well. Now, cutting on later on to the Grand Prix, lap 4 into turn 1, setting a purple lap time at the moment. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle, and Vettel, no front wing, and I think that's Raikkonen. Oh, the 2 Ferraris have crashed. Wow, boys, what are you doing there, man? You completely wrecked your own races. Arriva Bene will not be happy with that. Both Ferraris seemingly with a bit of damage there. I think Raikkonen might have come off unscathed because I'm looking behind me. He's not struggling as much as Vettel. But anyway, as that went on, Perez was going very slow into that top kind of hairpin up the hill. So I made the opportunistic move, went around the outside, and we're up into 5th place now. So 1 lap later, going on to lap 6 actually, so pretty much 2 laps later, we're in the DRS of Verstappen right now. The tyres you can see on the left, they're already starting to grain a bit, and so the tyres will only go 10 laps. So at the moment, we're just trying to have a look, but I think better of it into turn 1 and hang back at the moment. Rosberg sets a blistering lap time of 1:07.9 at the moment. So these tyres starting to go off. We've got about 4 laps left on these tyres until we make our pit stop. So hopefully we'll try and make the move and get this place before the pit stops. But yet again there, you can see I had a little bit of a look, but then just thought better of it. Verstappen placing his car quite well. Even though he's going a little bit slower than me into some of these brake zones, he's actually placing it quite well right down the middle, just giving me maybe an inkling of space to maybe look at a move, but then we think better of it. And just then, down that back straight with DRS, Perez tried to have a look at me, but he's no use for him. He stays behind me, and then we cut through into lap 8 now. We're still right on the back of Verstappen, trying to dart around, trying to see where we can get him, and we'll have DRS here, so this should be the best opportunity we have at the moment. Really close to Verstappen there. He does get away from us in the traction zones, though, so it's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll see. We've opened the DRS, gaining the slipstream. Let's see. I think it's going to be a bit too far back, to be honest. Yes, it is. We try our best, brake quite late into that corner, but just don't get there quite enough. But now, on the very next lap, same exact place, through the same exact corner, we close up on Verstappen. But crucially this time, it doesn't seem like Verstappen has such a good exit there, and I keep my car in third gear for a little bit longer to get the power down a little bit more. And now we're right in the slipstream. We'll go for the diving move. We'll hit the apex quite nicely, lose the rear end a little bit, squeeze Verstappen now, and looks like he's going to try and hang out around the outside, but he has to give up eventually. So he did give up a good fight, because it was quite a late move for me, and I did lose the back end, but it's no use for him, and we've got up into 4th place. But now we cut onto lap 10, and it's time for us to make our pit stops. But crucially, till lap 10, we did not lose that position, and we stayed in 4th place. Up ahead, meanwhile, it looks like that Hamilton is in 3rd place. I believe that leaves then Rosberg in 1st, and then I think it's Bottas in 2nd place. So if so, Bottas doing a really good job there in the Williams. Obviously, they haven't been on pace this entire career mode season. Obviously, Austria being a power circuit. In the past, we've seen Williams go well. So, you know, no surprise there that they might be doing well. But on the pit stop here, oh, dear Lord. We have been held up an absolute treat there by both these cars. Unfortunately, my team tried their best, but they just couldn't get me ahead of Perez and Verstappen. That's sort of what happens when you pit on the same lap and you're all very close to each other down the pit lane. Unfortunately, they've jumped us, so that's actually quite annoying. But we're on fresh tyres, so that should be all good. And we can try and catch back up to them. Those tyres were really, really worn. I don't know if you guys saw, but when my team took the tyres off, those option tyres, they were so grained. They were like literally someone took sandpaper to them and like scraped it over the tyres. So there's the kind of HD tyre texture mod coming into play there for this career mode. Anyway, on to lap 14, 4 laps later. We've been pushing as hard as we can, trying to catch up to these two, because obviously we need to re-overtake them basically for position. But as we come up here, you're about to see something very, very stupid. Perez slowing down on the apex. We come through and, well, that's gone rather well. We've broken our front wing, and Perez is, well, just waltzing off like nothing happened. I don't know why he exactly was going that slowly. As you can see, I really couldn't do much, because I kind of went right to the brake zone, then swept left like you usually do and try and hit the apex. And by that point, I didn't actually realise Perez was going that slowly until about maybe 2 seconds too late, and I tried to brake as hard as I could. Did not work, and we broke our front wing. So anyway, now we're on lap 16, and we got Sainz there who's breaking his front wing. Speaking of front wings, so we're now chasing after Nasser, and that'll be an easy move because he's got no front wing as well. So both those cars having a bit of an accident right in front of us on lap 16, and that's made 2 easy moves for us, and we're up into 12th place from what was 14th when we came out of the pits. So that's gone very well, and we're right on the back of Magnussen, and we're going to overtake him with DRS. Should be pretty damn easy. He's on prime tyres. We're on option tyres now, that you should have seen by now. So we're on options. We're going option to the end. So we'll make one more pit stop in this race, and it will be for another set of option tyres. But at the moment, you can see we're absolutely flying at the moment. Purple lap time. We'll send it down the inside of Hulkenberg on lap 17, and we'll get that position for 10th place. He tries his best to maybe hang out with me on the exit, but eventually we get him on pace and with some DRS. So we're up into 10th place, already up into the points, and then 1 lap later, lap 18, setting another purple sector, and we're right behind Marcus Ericsson, and we're going to try and make a similar move to the one we did on Max Verstappen. Send it down the inside. He's on prime tyres. He's not he's not got great grip, I should say. Nearly mixed up my words there as we go down the inside, and we're up into 9th place. And then on the very next lap, lap 19, going on to lap 20, behind my man Jenson Button in the McLaren, we get the slipstream, open the DRS, swoop to the right, and we're going to make that place up into 7th place. And so concludes the flurry of overtakes lap after lap for us on those option tyres. We were absolutely flying on those. It was actually quite a lot of fun. Although I was very, very pissed off that Perez did crash my front wing off, I've got to admit it was very, very fun just flying through the pack on option tyres when they're all on prime tyres. And on lap 24, you can see some people in the pits, so we're now up into 5th place from 7th. Obviously, we're yet to make our pit stop, so we will eventually go back down to 7th place. But you can see the likes of Massa, Perez, Verstappen, Bottas all around us. So we're very much nearly basically back up to where we were, which is quite impressive. And I think that's all down to the option tyres. The prime tyres really quite slow here around Austria. They go quite some way in the race, but they're really not that fast. They're definitely not the race tyre. I think the option tyre is definitely the race tyre. And you can see once more those tyres very, very worn. Very, very nice to have a nice new set strapped on. And now we can push for the remaining 11 laps and try and see if we can get these places back, at least back up into 4th place. I think if we could do that, that would be absolutely a miracle and an awesome comeback. And on lap 28, you can see we're pretty much nearly there because we're right behind Max Verstappen again. And, well, I don't think he was expecting to see us again in this Grand Prix, really, you got to admit. But anyway, lap 29 with DRS, Can we try and overtake Verstappen? We have a look. I thought about it for a second there through turn 1, but we just hanged back, and now we get a good exit here. No DRS, just slipstream. Move to the left-hand side of the circuit. You can see he is on prime tyres, so all these guys around me on primes. We get past him, and we're up into 6th place. Immediately later on in the lap, through the last sector, through the last few corners here, chasing after Perez. You can see we've got 1 lap of fuel left as well, so that might come in handy here to help us push on to maybe even try and catch Massa, who somehow has jumped Perez and Verstappen. And remember, Massa was behind all of us, all 3 of us at the beginning of the Grand Prix. But anyway, into lap 30, we've gone down the inside of Perez. Pretty damn easy move, you must say. And now we can try and chase after Massa, who I just said has jumped all of us somehow. I don't know how that's exactly happened, but as I mentioned before earlier with Bottas, Williams generally, you know, you might expect them to have better pace here at Austria, being a kind of power circuit, and also generally in the past, Williams have gone well here. So on to lap 34 now. 2 laps to go in the Grand Prix, and we've not only caught up to Massa, but we've also caught up to Valtteri Bottas, because that is his car just up ahead. I hope you can see that, just ahead of Massa. That is Valtteri Bottas' car. We're going up to Rich Mix. We've got we've got 1 lap of fuel left. I can't say words at the moment. We've got 1 lap of fuel left in this race. We've got 2 laps to go. We're going to burn all this fuel and try and see if we can overtake both these cars, and potentially could turn this round to a flipping podium, which would be amazing. We go down the inside of Massa here, wasting no time at all. We go side by side of him. He's still going to try and stick with me, but right now we're just ahead of him, just about. But coming into this next corner, I go a little bit wide, lock up on the left front. Massa comes down my inside. We're still side by side at this point in sector 2. He's still there on my inside. We just about hang it round, and we are now into 4th place, and we secure that 4th place. And now we're going to get on to Valtteri Bottas. We've got 2 laps left, and now we cut on to the last lap of the Grand Prix on optimum fuel mixture. We're still in rich mix. You can see we've gone purple in the first sector. Can we get a podium on the last lap of the Grand Prix? What a fairy tale story this would be for the 3rd time in a row in this Haas Formula 1 car. If we can get a podium after having a front wing off. We put it down to stand mix because we don't want to run out of fuel. That would be the worst thing possible to happen right at the end here. But we're going to stick with Bottas. Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix. Rosberg comes in 2nd, and who is going to come 3rd? We get oh so close to Bottas' gearbox through the left-hander, just trying to size ourselves up. We're just trying to, you know, push as hard as we can. Try and just, you know, really, if I could physically push this car through these corners to try and catch up to Bottas through the final swooping right-hander and the last corner. We try our hardest down to 3rd gear. We get the run on Bottas. Open the DRS. Can we get him to the line? No, we can't. It's a valiant effort.
Amazing comeback, dude. You deserved the podium, but great effort out there today.
But we do not get Valtteri Bottas. We end up in 4th place, but that is still an absolutely brilliant comeback. But, oh, man, how close was that? That was a few hundredths in it. Oh, so close to Valtteri Bottas, but we tried our best, but it's only going to be 4th place today. Oh, God, what a finish. So after that rather dramatic end to the Austrian Grand Prix, this is how it shapes up in the Driver Championship. We got Hamilton still way out ahead with 159 points. Unfortunately for everyone else, looks like he's just having an absolute blistering season in this career mode so far. Myself, I'm still in 2nd place with 108 points. Raikkonen in 3rd. Vettel slipping a few points down. Rosberg in 4th place. We've got my teammate slipping down the order in 8th place now as Bottas gets up there. And in the Constructors, Mercedes leading the way. But now Haas, we've crucially re-overtaken Ferrari in the Constructors, 152 to their 144. So fantastic job for the team for us this weekend. Obviously, it would have been awesome to get 3rd, but nonetheless, we tried our hardest, and what an end to that Grand Prix that was. So, guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, smash that like button for that ending. That was absolutely crazy how close that was at the end. I really did think we could have got him. Maybe just one more lap, we definitely would have had him there, but that's, you know, you can't change these things. So anyway, let me know what you thought of that race in the comments below. If you're new around here, then subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. In terms of this series, guys, now that we're overtaken this season, we are at Austria now, basically like 2 weeks ahead of the actual Austrian Grand Prix. So this will basically be when I start to ramp up the actual episodes of this series coming out. So starting from next week, you'll see hopefully at least I'm hoping 2 or 3 of these episodes a week coming out. Obviously, as you can tell, the editing is you know, it's quite chilled out. The editing is definitely not as intensive as it is for something like My Driver. So it means I can actually get these out quite a lot in the week. So you should see quite a few of these out in every single week, you know, until we finish the series. Pretty much the only thing I can say is if My Driver comes out on a certain day, don't expect an episode of this series to come out, but then on any other day, you can keep your eyes peeled for this series, but I'm not going to set any sort of schedule for this series. It'll just come out when it comes out. For this series, I can definitely do a lot more episodes, because obviously, as you can tell, the editing is quite chilled out, definitely a lot less intensive than My Driver, and I set it up to be like that because I wanted something a little bit different, just to relax a bit from My Driver and just have a bit of a more chilled out career mode. So that's what this is all about, and it means I can get a lot more episodes out. So that will start from next week, hopefully at least 2 a week, and maybe even 3 if I can find the time. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of the day. I've been aarava, and I will see you guys for the next one. Goodbye.